Most players are losing in Madden right now because they can't get a stop on defense, but it doesn't have to be that way. Today I'm going to walk you through 5 defensive tips that will instantly make you a better player on that side of the ball. So that being said, let's dive right into it.
Ready? Ready.
The first tip we're going to talk about today is how to appropriately shade your zones. EA changed the way yellow zones play when shaded, and we can now be more confident in them doing what we think they're going to do. Now when we shade our coverage underneath, any yellow zone on the field is going to play at a 5-yard depth. So if you look at the play here, we're in a cover 2 defense, and you can see I actually have 3 different yellow zones on the field with the vert hook, the mid read, and then what's now just showing as a curl, but I believe that's the hook zone curl is what it was called before the title update. Now, when we go to shade underneath with our coverage for our entire defense, what you're going to see is all 3 of those zones are going to play at a 5-yard depth. It does not matter that one's a vert hook, that one's a mid read, that one's a hook curl. None of that matters. Again, if they are a yellow zone and we are shading underneath, what you're going to see is they're all going to play at that same depth. So again, you see all 3 of these guys are at that 5-yard depth right there on that line. Now, if you do shade over the top, they're going to play definitely deeper down the field, but they don't play at an exact yardage marker like they do a shade underneath. So if we do go to shade over the top, and you can see that we still have the same thing where we have a vert hook, mid read, and our hook curl, what you're going to see here is they're going to play anywhere from 12 to 18 yards depending on the routes that are going into their area. So if we say hike here, we look at the replay, you're going to see that they're going to get different and varying depths. And again, it's just dependent on the route combination, but it's going to be anywhere from 12 to 18 yards, especially for your vert hooks and your hook curls. Your mid reads are still going to follow things down the seam. Okay, so they're going to get a little bit further back, especially if something's running down the seam from an interior receiver. Now, what you'll see here is, again, this player right here is our vert hook. He's getting back to about that 18-yard depth, and then he's going to come down. And then over here, you can see that this hook is getting back to about 12, and then 15 is his max, again, because this running back starts to come into his area. So he gets a little bit more depth with that. But again, you can see here that they are going to react very consistently depending on which way that we shade this coverage. One thing that can be very beneficial for us is when your opponent is running something like these double drags or a mesh concept, simply shading underneath with your entire defense, whether you're in cover 2 or cover 3, is going to do a great job at having players in the windows there to take away those drags and force your opponent into throwing somewhere else. The next thing you need to start doing now is utilizing the all-new stunts and twists that were added into Madden 26. This allows us to get pressure without needing to send extra people on a blitz. What we want to look for to run the best stunt in the game right now is going to be a 4-down lineman set where we can really get those defensive linemen out wide. So formations like 3-3 single mug, double mug, and things like nickel wide do a really good job at this. We're going to be in single mug here for this video, and you have 2 options on how you can pick your stunt. The easiest way is in the play call screen. When you're picking your play, just hold the button instead of pushing it, and you can now scroll through and see the different stunts that you have available to you in that formation. Now, the stunt that we're going to be using today is going to be Texas 4-man, and all you need to do to really make this consistent and super effective is spread your defensive line. Now, I mentioned you want to get them as wide as you can, so again, this formation does a great job. You see how wide the D tackles are. They're really lined up across the offensive tackles, and then we have our 2 edge guys really out wide there. And if we look at the player, you're going to see that they're both going to be looping to the inside, and you're going to get those D tackles trying to take the double teams to free up those edge rushers. So what you're going to see is when they go to say hike, again, you're going to get very, very consistent pressure with one of those guys. It's really dependent on which way that center goes. Okay, so if they're not blocking a running back or blocking extra people, what you're going to see is if the center ends up going to the left here, as you can see, to pick up that stunt, the right stunt's going to come in because we have the 2-on-2. So whichever side you have the 2-on-2 is going to be the side that you typically are going to get this stunt to come in on. Let's run it one more time just to show you how consistent it can be. And all you need to do is spread that defensive line, and that's going to really set up the width that we need to make sure this comes in. You can see the play art looks just like that. When they go to say hike, again, it's going to be very, very hard for them to block this in any consistent way on the offensive side of the ball unless they start blocking extra people. But then if they're blocking extra people to only pick up 4, we're definitely winning that as the defensive player. Our third tip today is going to be how to stop corner routes every single time in Madden. But before we get into that, if this is the type of content that you like and you're looking to get even better at Madden, make sure to join our free Discord by going to HuddleGG/Discord. And if you join today, you're going to get access to a free bonus video that we've made just for you, going over one of our favorite and most underrated stunts in the entire game. To get access to that video, all you need to do is join the Discord and type in !stunt. Now, with that being said, let's get right back into tip number 3. Corner routes are popular each and every year, and you need to have a consistent way to stop them if you want to have success and get more stops on the defensive side of the ball. The play that we want to call is cover 9, and you can call this out of any formation in the game that has this defense. Now, before we call the play, we do want to go to our coaching adjustments and make sure that auto flip is turned on, because we want to make sure that the cover 2 side of our play is aligned to the 3 receiver side. Now, the only thing we want to do with our setup is we're going to man up the 3 rec to the tight end, and then we're going to move this outside corner out a few steps where he's about 3 yards outside of that receiver on the bunch side. Now, from there, we're going to use this backside safety, just help out over the deep middle of the field, look for any deep crossers coming from the bunch side. But what we're really looking to shut down is a very popular route combination here to the right side, where they have the stem down corner, the slot fade, and then the streak. So when they go to say hike, what you're going to see is we're just going to help out here in the middle, but we're going to have defense perfectly set up for the right side, where we're going to be able to take away both the corner and that slot fade, and they're going to have nowhere to go with the ball. If we look at the replay here real quick, you're going to see, again, when we move this guy out, just puts him in a little bit better leverage to help be on top of this route from the start of the play. But you can see the soft squat does a great job following this all the way to the sideline. And then our vert hook here is going to match the slot fade. He's going to play more of a trail technique, but we do have the deep safety over the top. And then we have the middle linebacker, the 3 rec, manned up to the tight end. And you can see everything is taken away on this play. If we set this up one more time just to show you the consistency, again, the route combination to the right is going to look something like that. All we need to do, man up the 3 rec to the tight end, move this corner out a few steps, and then use this backside safety. When they go to say hike, you're going to see that our player is going to be in perfect position to make a play on that ball. And you can obviously click on, have an opportunity for a pick, and possibly even a touchdown there from the defense. Next, we're going to talk about our safety alignment and how we can make sure that our safeties are in the right spot before the play starts. EA added new coaching adjustments this year to allow us to align our safeties exactly where we want them to be pre-snap. And what we need to do in the play call menu, click the right stick in, and then we want to go to the bottom and you'll see safety depth, safety width, and safety midpoint. Now, there's a lot of combinations of what you can do with these settings, but the one you should be using as your base setting is having safety width set to pinch and safety depth set to close. Now, before we come out in that alignment, we are going to put it back to default real quick to talk about why this is important and what this can help with. Now, if our opponent comes out in a play and we're just in a stock play defensively where our safeties are 14, 15 yards off the ball, a lot of times they can make a throw underneath that safety and get that easy completion there. And good passers will make that throw time and time again because they see the depth that those safeties are at and they know they can't make a play on the ball. The other thing that people will take advantage of is if we're trying to use those safeties in the run fit in a defense like a cover 4, as you can see here, we don't want them starting so far off the ball. So what we're going to do is go back into our coaching adjustments really quick, and we're going to set that to what we want it to be. We'll come back in the same play here on the offensive side of the ball, the same play on the defensive side of the ball, but now we're going to have safety depth on close, safety width on pinch. And when we come out, you're going to see right away, just visually, this makes your opponent not want to throw that seam throw anymore because of where that safety is aligned. Now, what you're going to see is if they do try to throw it, our safety is going to be in a much better position to make a play on the ball. You can get a knockout, you can get that turning into an interception, or you're just going to be right there to make the tackle immediately and give them no space at all. But you can see that's not a throw they can make consistently. Now, if they're looking to run the ball as well, having these safeties this close to the line of scrimmage is really going to help us when it comes to defending the run. So if they go to run the ball, what you'll see is we have a lot of people here in our cover 4 defense down by the line, and the safety is going to be able to get to that ball carrier quicker than he would if he was that 15 yards off the ball. So again, this safety alignment with the close and pinch is going to allow you to take away one of the most common throws in the game with those quick seams, and it's also going to allow your safeties to play the run better simply because they're closer to the line of scrimmage at the start. Now, before our last tip where we'll show you how to absolutely shut down scrambling quarterbacks, if you're looking to take your game to the next level, use promo code WIN to get 20% off our pro subscription over at HuddleGG. This will give you access to everything on our website and help make you a better player, which in turn will make playing the game more fun. We appreciate all of your support, and now let's dive into our final tip. Slowing down a scrambling quarterback is key if you want to win more games in Madden, and we're going to show you the easiest way in the game to do so. In the most recent title update, EA improved the effectiveness of QB contains, and it's something you need to have on the field when facing specific players. It's really easy to set up, and you can do it out of any formation. All you need to do is push right bumper and then left bumper, and you're going to see that our edge rushers now have the contain angles. These guys are now going to get really good outside leverage to make sure that that quarterback cannot get out of the pocket consistently. If we look to run to the right side here, you're going to see that edge defender is going to be in a great spot, and we cannot get the edge on him. We cannot get around the corner to get some easy yards in the run game. And if we look to run to the left side here against a contain, you're going to see a very similar story where that edge defender does a great job of keeping leverage on that quarterback. I would recommend having a formation where your edge defenders who are going to be in the contain are starting outside of the tackle, as you can see here, or the tight end, whoever's going to be trying to block them. So if you do need to spread your line or something like that, that's perfectly fine. And then the last thing as well is you need to understand that if you're running a stunt and your edge defender is involved in the stunt, he will not contain when you contain. So you can see here, if we're sending a left Texas to the left side, we can still get the contain to the right, but we're not going to be able to get to the contain to the left because he is involved in that stunt. But again, make sure that you start to incorporate these contains if your opponent is trying to roll out time and time again throughout the game. We appreciate those who stuck around till the end, and if you haven't already and you're still looking to get better at Madden, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any of our videos.